What's up, First Cut fans? It's Fight Night, baby! And in one corner, we have, fresh off of Ant-Man Quantumania, starring as Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. And on the other corner, we have, he's played Killmonger, he's played Johnny Storm, and now he's back as Adonis Creed, also making his directorial debut. We have Michael B. Jordan. Let's see who's gonna win this square off. Let us know in the comments down below. Let's get started.
Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
All right, let me bring down the temperature in here real quick, y'all. That's right, y'all. We are here to review Creed. If you can't tell, I'm hyped, man, because I love Creed, man. I love sports films, I love boxing movies, and I love Creed. I love Rocky movies in general. I mean, they really, I really think the first three Rocky movies are really where the franchise kind of stops. And then you got Rocky Balboa, which is a nice one. I'm not talking about Rocky 4. It's a terrible movie. I don't know why y'all keep trying to justify that. Rocky 5, y'all don't talk about either. 6 is good. And of course, the Creed films are all amazing. I'm a little bit biased because, hey, look, how can there be a franchise where two of the first two films in this franchise of Creed were both directed by Black USC graduates? I mean, come on, people. What's going on? That's pretty amazing, right? Shout out to Ryan Coogler for coming up with the Creed concept back in 2015. That really set off the spark of a lot of things. It really rebooted Rocky for a new generation. It gave it a clean new look. It successfully reintroduced younger audiences to the iconic film franchise, and it bolstered leading man Michael B. Jordan into global stardom. I mean, before, you had movies like That Awkward Moment and Chronicle and all that, but this movie was the film that made him Michael B. Jordan. It's undeniable. Now, even though some people, me, might jokingly refer to Michael B. Jordan as a face actor, truth of the matter is, like, he's just a good-looking dude, and I'm hating. I'm hating. And underneath his remarkably animated facial expressions lie a reliably likable realism that is rare in like Hollywood stars today. A lot of people don't really see that kind of authenticity in movie stars. And when you combine that with a nice subtle underlying performance that evokes fear or concern or worry or social distraught, it breeds like a reliably great performance. You can look at movies like Fruitvale Station, where he's playing Oscar Grant. You can look at Just Mercy. You can look at Black Panther, where he's playing the antagonist, Eric Killmonger. I'd be hating with the face actor thing sometimes, but it's all in good love because I actually think this dude's mad talented. And he brings that talent to Creed 3. That's right. Following Adonis's retirement, he's trying to become a family man. He's trying to loosen up. He has a new kid with Tessa Thompson's Bianca. But that whole life gets interrupted when Damon Anderson, played by Jonathan Majors, enters the picture. Now, I said it up top, a lot of the cast returns. Tessa Thompson, Wood Harris is back as Duke, Phylicia Rashad. We have Ivan Drago, or not Ivan, his son Victor Drago returning for a little bit as well. And of course, Michael B. Jordan. But he's not just acting in it, he's also directing it. That's right, he is making his directorial debut with Creed 3, taking a cue from Rocky creator Sylvester Stallone, who is actually not in this movie, by the way, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. A lot of times that could be seen as risky, especially when it's the franchise that built your career, when it's something like Creed that was that instrumental. But he definitely demonstrates an unflinching amount of confidence with every single choice that he makes throughout this movie. And regardless of how you feel about those choices, there's no doubt that this man has a strong vision. Well, what am I referring to in particular, right? Well, first of all, I think stylistically, the bras are super easy to follow consistently all the way through. I think they use some really well-timed camera movements and editing to emphasize the hits and where people are getting hit. And, I think in some interviews, Michael B. Jordan talked about how certain anime helped influence the fight scenes in this movie. And those influences definitely stood out from the very first fight, which had like really clever close-ups and time ramping effects that really put you inside the gloves like never before. And there's one fight scene in this movie that I can genuinely, truly say is unlike anything I've ever seen in a boxing movie ever. And, you know, this is a scene that I've seen some other critics talk about, or some people at the screening even talking about. And it definitely is a scene that will divide audiences and critics. It divided critics, and I think it will kind of divide audiences a little bit. It'll kind of serve as a make or break moment for your taste for this film. But I personally really loved it. Now, while all of the splashy fight scenes were well executed, the number one priority of the director is to tell the story through the actors on screen. And yo, let me tell y'all something. In Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan excels in getting a rousing performance out of Jonathan Majors. Like I said earlier, he's fresh off of Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and the Wasp. This time he's back as another bad guy, Diamond Dame, an old friend of Adonis who's looking for one more shot of glory after being locked up for 18 years. 18 years, man. I mean, for one, let me just say this. Like, I don't know where or what or how Jonathan Majors got inspiration for his character or where he got this from, but the results, I feel like, are shockingly realistic. Now, I don't have anything to really say, like, as a critic-wise of, like, why it felt so accurate to me. But, I mean, just from me growing up in the city of Compton, you know what I mean? You see murderers, criminals, and just generally angry people who are, like, just getting out the pen, still living with their ankle bracelets, just stripped of their freedom for mad years and just carrying a heavy chip on their shoulder. There's like that desperate, there's like so desperate for just one shot to get by, to get to that life that they dreamed of by any means necessary. And that's something that Jonathan Majors really embodies when he's creating this brutal, menacing, but also sympathetic antagonist. For me, like, he was the scene stealer all the way around. Every moment he was in just truly elevated the movie, and I thought it was exciting to watch. You know, I think this movie lives up to the promise of taking the Creed franchise into a darker, edgier direction, something we haven't really seen in Rocky movies before. You know, in the first Creed and Creed 2, they're kind of loosely based on the first Rocky and Rocky 4, because, you know, in Creed 2 he was fighting Drago, you know, that's like Rocky 4, America versus Russia, but this one kind of takes a little bit of a page out of like Creed 3, right, which is or Rocky 3. Creed 3 kind of takes a little bit from Rocky 3, which is when, you know, Rocky is Balboa, he's retired, he's also chilling, but then Clubber Lang just comes out, he's just talking mad trash in the press.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
So Rocky got to come out of retirement and fight him. Now, that to me has always been my personal favorite film of the franchise. So seeing this story get a 2023 update was like super refreshing, and adding the intriguing social commentary of institutionalization, prison, the penitentiary, parole, ankle bracelets, all that stuff just really was a big positive too. And listen, man, as legendary as Mr. T was, I pity the fool. As legendary as he was in the first Rocky film, I mean, come on. We're talking about Jonathan Majors. He is bringing chess to the checker game. All right. He is on a whole nother level here, y'all. The details in his performance are absolutely what makes the difference. His physique is crazy. He has a new bodybuilder movie, indie film that just premiered at Sundance. It's called Magazine Dreams. And I don't know if he was prepping for the bodybuilder role for the physique, or if it was for Rocky, or if it was vice versa. But man, pound for pound, this dude is outsizing old Donnie Boy inside the ring and in the frame. I mean, he's literally towering over Michael B. Jordan multiple times. Moreover, his posture is like always like subtly hunched over, leaving the impression he never really slept in a comfortable bed. You know, and oh man, let me tell y'all, I've seen a lot of movies and a lot of actors try and do the fake little South LA accent. Man, he nailed that. He nailed that. He made a very convincing South LA accent, and not even to nitpick, like, but you could kind of hear a little bit of when he's like saying some of those lines, and they might have to ADR over it a little bit because he's just too lost in the sauce of that like classic South LA mumble. What's up, cuz, man? You know, it's just a little hard out here, man. It's that struggle, bruh. And, you know, it's very specific, but he nails it perfectly. And speaking of South Central LA, this movie really truly recontextualizes the Creed franchise from being Philly-based with the first 2 Rocky films to now being LA-based. Like, this is a full-on LA movie. We see locations like Venice Beach, Lamar Park, you know, Dodger Stadium, if you saw one of the most recent trailers. You know, there's the music, you know, we hearing Nipsey, we hearing everything. I mean, it's a celebration of LA culture, black LA culture. And that's something that I thought was a breath of fresh air as well. And it makes sense thematically because Adonis needs to stay closer to his mom in this movie, Mary Ann Creed, who's obviously played by Phylicia Rashad. We all know who Miss Phylicia Rashad is, Mrs. Phylicia Rashad is. She has been the heart of this franchise since day one, and you know, her character returns in this entry and is honestly unmissable too. You know, you got 3 great performances here all around. MBJ, of course, obviously is the lead. Jonathan Majors is the front runner, the scene stiller, just everything, just killing it. And Phylicia Rashad quietly in the background, just you know, pushing the way forward too, pushing the emotion forward. You know, Tessa Thompson's Bianca character returns. She doesn't have that much to do in this movie. Other than, you know, she's a mom. She's obviously still doing the producer thing. We get a little bit of her goals and ambitions, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more of her. Overall, Creed 3 is a championship prize fight worth watching with a crowd. Don't be surprised if you find yourself glued to the edge of your seat while watching the fisticuffs on screen. Listen, from the spectacle to the heart, this movie delivers everything you want in a blockbuster sports movie. Now, my LA bias, my Rocky 3 bias aside, Michael B. Jordan directs a thrilling boxing movie with a solid emotional core. I personally can't wait to watch it again when it comes out opening weekend, and I hope y'all check it out too. Let me know what y'all think of the Creed franchise. Are you big fans of these films? Do you like Michael B. Jordan? Do you like the fact that they're doing Creed without Rocky? I mean, that's big. I mean, you know, without Rocky, it's kind of taking the Philly element away from it, right? So let me know what y'all think down below. Do y'all think he should pop up in the next one? I mean, maybe... You know, I'm kind of glad he didn't, because if they were really pushing for the Rocky 3 angle, you know, we all know what happens in Rocky 3. That's when Paulie dies. So I hope they wasn't, you know, pushing for that angle and, you know, he wasn't rocking with it. Or maybe that's the angle Stallone wanted, but, you know, they didn't want to go too sappy with these Rocky movies anymore or these Creed movies anymore. They wanted to establish their own identity. I think they did an amazing job establishing a new Creed identity, which has already been there from the jump. But, you know, get it out of Philly, get it away from, you know, Stallone. Let it just be Michael B. Jordan's thing, and I'm here for it all day, all night, baby. That's all I got for Creed 3 review. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are some of your favorite boxing movies? I also love Cinderella Man from Ron Howard, starring Russell Crowe. You know, there's a lot of great obviously Raging Bull, you know, the first Creed, first Rocky. I mean, we go day in and day out talking about boxing movies. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. That being said, y'all, it's your boy RB3. Peace.
It's either me or you. Take you out the equation. It's either me or you. You do the math. Only one can remain.